They are the memories some will never forget.
There's me, right there in the little pigtails. That's my mom.
It could have been the thrills.
Well, everybody remembers the roller coaster.
It could have been following in your parents' footsteps.
This was where my dad worked. This was where my mom was, for the most part.
This wasn't anyone's amusement park. This was Wichita's amusement park. This was Joyland. But like an empire, the park had a rise and then a fall.
You worked so hard for years and years to make it nice, and then to see this happen.
What was once the best amusement park in the state, now in a state of disrepair. We're about to take a look back at Joyland, never-before-seen film from the park's glory days, and investigate what's being done to preserve this piece of Wichita history. It was in 1949. Harry Truman was president. Wichita was booming after World War II, and a new amusement park called Joyland opened.
It was a lot of work. You're talking 14, 15-hour days.
Jerry Ottaway has been there through it all. His father and uncle, Harold and Herb Ottaway, owned several amusement parks in Wichita, but they will always be known for Joyland.
They built the park with a 75-foot high roller coaster. It was the largest wood coaster that they had built up to that time.
Sitting on a piece of land south of downtown Wichita, Joyland was geared to give kids in Wichita a place to play. The idea took off. Children loved the park, and parents loved to come with cameras and capture memories. Plenty of photos still exist from the early days of the park, but very little home video, so you can call Sharon Hawkins lucky.
My mom. That's me. No, that's me. There's my brother.
Her parents filmed this video in the late 1950s, but no one knew it existed.
When they died, we went to their house and we were cleaning out the attic and we found a box full of old film.
It was a lucky find, and now it's a way to relive old family memories of the park.
And we went there with our kids, and we went there when I was little, and it was always a really good time. Love Joyland.
The park lived on for decades longer, changing hands a few times.
Well, my dad was with them very early on, and he was a promoter. He liked thinking of ways to get people to come to Joyland.
Roger Nelson's parents became the exclusive owners of the park in 1975.
I guess you could say that there's not very many towns that have their own amusement park. And this was Wichita's amusement park.
The park was a success, from company picnics like this one from a Cessna Aviation celebration to events like discounted tickets for good grades at school. The park was even the site of a movie.
We'll just put out an APB on that. APE.
Calling all cars, calling all cars.
The Nelsons operated the park for many more years, but eventually retirement came, and after several failed attempts to get a new buyer in, the park was forced to close.
I think everybody thought it would be there forever, which we thought so too.
And then the final nail in the coffin of Wichita's favorite place. Vandals, thieves, and arsonists started tearing the park apart.
They broke into the powerhouse, ripped out the big channel of wires, and we were done at that point.
With no electricity, there were no lights. The park goes dark, and the situation only gets worse.
Breaking news overnight, an investigation's underway into what caused a Joyland building to catch fire.
The fire destroys an iconic ride at the former Joyland amusement park.
It's just like a punch in the gut every time, police call you, fire department calls you, and you're just, it's just sickening.
You just lose all sense of seems like you're lost. All the buildings are leveled and burned up, and it's something else to walk around there and see all the debris.
But hope wasn't lost. The former owners started collecting items from the park before the thieves and arsonists destroyed these pieces of Wichita history.
There's people that preserve that stuff, thank goodness. for Wichita.
One of the biggest pieces to be collected was the old carousel. Being restored piece by piece, it will eventually land at a new park, Botanica Gardens in Wichita.
A piece of nostalgia restored, and the legacy of Joyland and those memories will be carried on here at Botanica.
Marty Miller has been working with teams of people for years to get the old Joyland carousel up and running and placed in its new home, and a fitting home at that. The layout for the new facility will be one of a kind, and just like when the carousel was at Joyland, Miller expects it to be a big attraction to the gardens.
It's actually growing into something else more than what it was, and it'll be a legacy from the past and a memory that can be carried on through the future.
Botanica isn't the only place you can see Joyland living on. You can also find these pieces of Wichita memorabilia and, of all places, an ice cream shop.
A lot of people ask us, they go, are these the actual signs from Joyland? Yes, they are.
Alex Latimer works at the Churn and Burn. It's an ice cream store. On the walls, there are original signs like Joyland Arcade the owners purchased, and on the menu, a Wichita favorite.
I have the Joyland dirt, and they give me some s'mores for Elena.
An ice cream concoction named after the amusement park.
So being local, we wanted to keep part of Joyland alive, so we bought all the signs and memorabilia and posted them around the store for everybody to come in and enjoy while they're getting ice cream and coffee.
All of this, all across the city of Wichita, to remember a once great amusement park.
The kids that missed Joyland missed a lot.
When we would drive down Hillside and see the sign, you'd start getting excited then because, oh, we're almost there. And then when the sign said closed, that was just like, really heartbreaking to know there's no more Joyland.
Memories just go on and on and on.
I remember I'd always ride the scrambler with my grandpa, and he would always be on the outside, the one that squishes me. And there was one time he squished me so much that I didn't want to go on it again for a little while.
Memories of Joyland from the people who experienced it are slowly starting to disappear. This is why preserving this Wichita icon is taking a front seat. And you don't have to look far to see those in the Wichita community trying to save this piece of history. From the ice cream store to the community gardens, Joyland lives on.
That was part of the culture of Joyland, and so it's just something that is unique to Wichita, Kansas, and I guess people will always remember it, the ones that got to grow up and enjoy it.
For Positively Kansas, I'm Bryan Ramsdale.